What is up? Great day on this Sunday. We have a lot of stuff to go over in the crypto world today between what's going on with Michael Saylor, who is the CEO of MicroStrategy. Big announcement he said here with regards to Bitcoin, his strategy, where he sees it going forward. We have a Bitcoin price prediction for someone who had said Bitcoin could reach $600,000 per coin. Now they are saying, you know what, maybe we might drop down to $10,000. I don't really think that's the case at all, but that's what we're hearing from him. He's a billionaire investor, so you know what, might as well listen to that. Also, we're going to go over a couple of things going on with regulations in countries all around the world, altcoins, major news with Solana, Cardano, and a couple of others. And then at the end, we're going to wrap up with a couple of market analysis things with US central bank digital currencies as well. So if you guys are just joining us, well then please be sure to like the video. It helps get these videos out to more people. I'm just going to title them always as cryptocurrency and Bitcoin news, because I don't want to try and do a clickbait title. It's just, I see too many titles on YouTube where they are just crazy, ridiculous titles that make no sense, and then they go on to talk about something completely different in the video. So I'm just going to title it Cryptocurrency Bitcoin News today, Sunday, June 27th. So this is going to be a wrap up of everything going on in the crypto world. And if you appreciate that, well then please be sure to like the video and subscribe. Looks like YouTube didn't send out any notifications for this video, but who cares? Let's get right into it. Starting off, let's look at what is going on with Bitcoin and just the entire crypto market. So right now the market's up about 5%, looking pretty good today, but still I'm getting a lot of questions as to, is the cryptocurrency bull market over? Are we going to see the market just enter a crypto winter and see it crash even further? But let's first go over what's going on. Bitcoin's up about 5.6%, Ethereum's up 3.7%. All across the board, we are seeing every single coin up between 1 and 5%. Dogecoin up 3%. Solana up 6%. So things are looking pretty good on this Sunday for the crypto world. Speaking of big news though, Michael Saylor, who is the founder and CEO of MicroStrategy, very bullish on Bitcoin, come out and says that China cracking down on Bitcoin is $1 trillion mistake. He said that, look, China had over 50% market share for Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. They were generating $10 billion a year from revenue from it, and the business for crypto mining and everything related to Bitcoin was growing 100% year over year. So think about it. He said, look, why would China get rid of something that's generating them $10 billion a year and growing 100% year over year? He's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's ultimately going to end up being $1 trillion mistake, and they're going to regret it. He said they're going to definitely regret what they did. He said, either way, though, right now, China has squeezed Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining and just crypto in general entirely out of China. We are seeing Bitcoin miners move to other countries. We're seeing them move to Texas. We're seeing them move to Florida. We're seeing them to move to countries in Europe. So they are looking for other countries that are more energy efficient. They are looking for countries where, in areas where they can mine Bitcoin without all the regulations, all the government scrutiny that China was putting on them. So Michael Saylor, who is the founder and CEO of MicroStrategy, said over the last few weeks, the crackdown forced miners to move their operations overseas, with the United States proving a very popular destination, specifically Texas, due to their wind energy, Miami, which the mayor of Miami has come out and said, look, we want crypto miners to come to Miami because we have nuclear energy, a little more efficient, doesn't cost as much, and we're going to work with you as much as possible. So he said that that is something what we are seeing. We're seeing this big trend move from China elsewhere around the world. In addition to this, on June 21st, MicroStrategy, when the entire crypto market crashed, we saw MicroStrategy add 13,000 Bitcoin to their balance sheet. They added 13,000 Bitcoin. They already owned about 86,000. Now they brought their total to 100,000 Bitcoin. We've talked about this. They own over $3 billion. And a lot of people are asking him, Michael Saylor, what about, do you think Bitcoin can continue to drop further than where it already is? Do you think it's going to drop down to 20,000, 15,000, 10,000? How low do you think it can go? And does this ultimately matter? Because everyone says crypto is over, it's going to crash, we're entering a crypto winter. And what he said is that, look, He bought the dip the other day when it dropped below 30,000. He says, even if this is part of a prolonged slide, even if we see the entire market drop even further, the important thing going on with crypto right now is not about what happens within the next month, 2 months, 6 months. It's what happens 10 years down the road when the market cap of Bitcoin has a very similar market cap to that of gold. And when that happens, well, we're going to see Bitcoin's price 10, 12, 15x from where it is right now, going to have a similar market cap to gold and be a $500,000 per coin investment. So it's going to be something that generates massive returns long term. So he says, look, I don't care. I don't care if it drops now. I don't care if we enter a crypto winter. I don't care if the price drops further, because ultimately he's in it for the long term, and that is exciting to see. His reasoning behind this, though, why he's in it for the long term, is not just because of the market cap of gold, but he also believes that with Bitcoin, the exciting thing about it is going to be that Bitcoin is the dematerialization of property. He says right now, we're sucking the value out of gold, sucking the value out of real estate and other property assets, collectibles, art, and all of that. He says we're putting it onto the blockchain, we're giving it to people, and it's a long-term trend. People are going to put all of their art on the blockchain. People are moving property and other assets and collectibles onto the blockchain, making them digital assets. And because of this, he says it's going to be so much bigger than it currently is. You can't even understand. It could potentially be bigger than gold, because gold, it doesn't have all the use cases that Bitcoin and all the blockchain technology has. Gold is very limited. It's a store of value. Ethereum, DeFi, smart contracts, NFTs, and blockchain technology in general has so many use cases that it doesn't matter if it's just a store of value, because it's much more than that. It has all of these use cases that are going to be put into action. We're already seeing Cardano talk with El Salvador and the government there. They have a partnership with Ethiopia, and these are just integrating into regular daily life. This has nothing to do with just a store of value. So ultimately, he says it's going to be 1,000,000 times more efficient than hauling your property around on your back, carrying things from place to place. You make everything digital, and that's what Bitcoin and where he sees it going in the future. That's what he sees with it, and that's why he says, look, if you want to be a part of this now, it doesn't matter if you get in at 40,000 for Bitcoin, you get in at 20,000, if it drops even further, ultimately long term, it's going to keep increasing. He later went to Twitter and reiterated some of the main points in his interview with Bloomberg. And he said, look, if you give joy to 5 billion people, you need if you want to give joy to 5 billion people, you need digital music. If you want to give knowledge to 5 billion people, you need digital books. If you want to give wealth to 5 billion people, you need digital property. He said, ultimately, the only way that we are going to see this trend continue is going to be that everything is going to be digitized at some point. Money, we are already seeing it with central bank digital currencies. We are seeing all things go digital, whether we're talking about like credit cards even more. You don't even need to have a credit card. You can just put it on Apple Pay. Like, you don't need so many things anymore because everything is going digital. We saw Bank of Israel already testing out Ethereum, having smart contracts transfer over the title of a car. Think about that. You usually it takes hours to transfer, to sign over all the paperwork for a car. Someone was able to just connect car ownership and the title to an NFT, send money to someone else, and it instantly transferred the title over from you to someone else with a smart contract. So it's very, very exciting with Bitcoin. In my opinion, you know what? Who cares if it drops even lower? Who cares if we're entering a crypto winter, which we'll get over. We'll go over that in a bit, but who cares about that? Because ultimately, China made $1 trillion mistake getting rid of Bitcoin mining because there's so much upside to it, and that's what Michael Saylor had to say. We got so distracted from that point because he said China's mining crackdown was $1 trillion mistake. We got all into Bitcoin, all into the use cases of it, but ultimately that's why they're making such a big mistake. That's where this mistake is coming from, is because they aren't just missing out on Bitcoin mining, they're missing out on the whole development process, all these different use cases for Bitcoin long term in the blockchain that are going to generate even more revenue that now they just turned down. They turned that down. Before we get into the next topic, if you can, please be sure to like the video. Helps get this out to more people. I keep reiterating that. I'm sorry. I know it's annoying, but I don't want to do the weird titles where it's like clickbait, crazy, massive, insane Bitcoin gains title. I just want to say, you know what? Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin news. So I'd appreciate if you guys could just like the video. Let's see if we could get this up to 500 likes. If we could do 500 likes, we're going to bring Tugboat, my French bulldog, onto the next episode because a lot of you guys have been talking about him. Next topic is, let's go over what exactly is going on with Guggenheim CIO, because he predict the real bottom of Bitcoin's price during this market we are seeing right now. We saw the exponential run all the way up to 65,000. But he said, look, now where is going to be the bottom? Everyone asks this because everyone wants to get in at the lowest price. They want to get in when Bitcoin reaches the lowest price like it did after 2017. After that run, dropped all the way down to 3,000. And then it went from 3,000 up to 65,000. So everyone wants to figure out where is the bottom now. And according to the CIO of Guggenheim, he came out and said, look, right now, he predicts that the real bottom of Bitcoin could fall to as low as $15,000 per coin. I don't necessarily agree with this, but it's important to always look at all aspects, what everyone has to say, especially people who are the chief investment officer of Guggenheim Partners, which is a multi-billion-dollar asset management firm. So right now, the asset management firm Guggenheim, their CIO, Scott Minerd, he came out and said, look, Bitcoin's price could drop as low as $15,000. He says the real bottom when you look at the technicals. Right now, he says $10,000 would be the real bottom, but you know what? That's probably a little extreme, so he would say $15,000. I think that is ridiculous, in my opinion, because first of all, putting the technicals aside right now, putting all technicals aside, just looking at what's going on in crypto, this market is completely different than we have seen any other crypto market in the past. Because right now, what we're seeing with crypto is that this is the first time ever that we're actually starting to see institutions get involved in crypto. Previous in 2017 and 2013, the institutions weren't involved in crypto. They didn't care about what was going on. They barely had any money. It would be like finding a diamond just walking around. If you found an institution that had a lot of money invested in crypto in 2017, if you had a lot of money invested in crypto in 2013, it was all retail investors. But now for the first time ever, why I think this is different and why I think his saying that the real bottom is at 10,000, why I think that's not true is because putting the technicals aside, when we're looking at crypto, institutions are finally in it. And the big thing is coming out this summer, within the second half of 2021, we're going to see a Bitcoin or Ethereum ETF approved. If not the end of 2021, okay, well then 2022. But right now, the SEC has had multiple applications to see a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF approved. And so they've seen multiple applications submitted, and while none of them have been, once that happens, that's going to be a massive inflow of capital from institutions. We already see that Tesla owns billions of dollars of Bitcoin. We see MicroStrategy owns $3 billion of Bitcoin. We see that Square owns Bitcoin. ARK Invest owns Bitcoin. We see institutions hold Bitcoin. Vast majority do not have anything to do with Bitcoin. We see, I always talk about these companies, but they're the ones who have been around the longest. Let's say like Ford, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson. Those companies have nothing to do with crypto or Bitcoin. So because of that, it's like, once we see these Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs approved, that's going to be like a go-ahead, like a green light for institutions to start getting involved in crypto, start allocating portions of their balance sheet to crypto. And for that reason, think about it. Right now, such a small percentage of institutions have exposure to Bitcoin. But as more people ask to pay with Bitcoin, as more people realize that the long term, there's going to be digital currency, well, in my opinion, we're going to start to see all of these big firms like Blackstone and BlackRock. We're going to see Johnson & Johnson and Coca-Cola, all of these like investment firms and retailers start to put money into Bitcoin. And because of that, I don't think we're going to see it ever drop to $10,000 per coin. I think it's you can't say never, but it seems very unlikely that $10,000 per coin, even $15,000 would happen. Yes, it's definitely possible. We usually see big corrections like what we are seeing, but the thing to keep in mind is, look, it's just something that when we're looking at it, at the price right now, there's too much institutional demand, in my opinion, to see the price drop that low. As soon as we saw Bitcoin's price the other day drop as low as $28,000 per coin, if we look at the chart, as soon as we saw the price drop to $28,000 per coin, there was a massive spike upwards. We saw so many people and so many institutions and large whale accounts add to their positions. We looked at the blockchain data. We spoke about this the other day. But as soon as we saw institutional investors, as soon as we saw Bitcoin's price drop to 28,000 on June 21st and June 22nd, we saw it rebound immediately. It did not stay below $30,000 per coin for very long at all. And ever since January of 2021, we have really had a pretty strong support here. Yes, we definitely could drop below it. But in my opinion, when we start zooming out, looking at the long term, we definitely have resistance at $20,000 per coin. That was our high back in 2017. We reached that again and we had trouble breaking through it in December. So I think, you know what, we do have a bit of a resistance, a bit of a support, at $20,000 per coin. You can see it was the high back in 2017. So my opinion, yes, it's possible to drop down to $10,000, $15,000 per coin. I think it's just unlikely because of all the institutional demand of it. And this is interesting because this Guggenheim CIO named Scott, he came out previously back in February of 2021, and he said that he was actually extremely bullish on Bitcoin. He said that Bitcoin was something that he thinks could reach $600,000 per coin. So it's interesting to see someone who has come out and say that they think Bitcoin could reach $600,000 to say, look, even though I'm very bullish on it, even though I think it's going to reach $600,000 per coin, it could have a market cap higher than gold, I still think in the short term it's going to drop. So that's why I really wanted to talk about what he said, because if we look at this right here, it says Guggenheim Investment increases Bitcoin fair value estimate to $600,000. So this is the same person, the same firm that says that Bitcoin could drop as low as $15,000. So it's interesting to see that little bit of that difference right there. That even though they're bullish on it, they're saying, look, $600,000 long term because we believe that there isn't institutional support. Once institutions start to allocate single digits of their balance sheet to Bitcoin, well, then they believe that. Once institutions start to allocate single digits of their balance sheet to Bitcoin and crypto, well, then they believe that it's going to go up to the same market cap as gold, reach $400,000 to $600,000 per coin. This isn't the only person that we're here talk about this. Cathie Wood and ARK Invest have come out multiple times and said, look, once institutions start to allocate single digits of their balance sheet into Bitcoin, well, then we're going to see the price go all the way up to $500,000 per coin. This is Cathie Wood and ARK Invest. So we see multiple people say this. This isn't like, oh, it's just Guggenheim Investments. No, ARK Invest and Cathie Wood say $500,000 for Bitcoin. Guggenheim Investments, they say $600,000 per Bitcoin. But it's just they're saying in the short term, because institutions are not so heavily invested into Bitcoin right now, well, short term, we're going to see the price drop. But like I said, I think that's all going to change as soon as we see Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs approved, because once we see these ETFs approved, that's going to be when we see institutional interest increase dramatically. It's going to increase dramatically. So that's what's going on, though, with Guggenheim CIO. 15,000 short term, he predicts it'll drop. Long term, up to 600,000. Me personally, what I think is that I agree with their long-term price prediction. Short-term, I just don't see it falling at, like they say, as low as $10,000. Like, it's possible. It's definitely possible. But the thing is there's just too much demand for Bitcoin. Whenever we've seen it drop into the $20,000 range, we've seen so many people start to say, I'm going to get into Bitcoin. I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. I feel like I missed out years ago. I don't want to miss out again. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But before we get into the next topic, again, if you guys can, please be sure to like the video. Let's see if we can get this up to 500 likes. Like I'm going to tell you guys, all the crypto update videos daily are going to be cryptocurrency, Bitcoin news. That's the title with the date. I don't want to do any sort of crazy title that says massive, insane Bitcoin run to $1 million in 2021. Whatever it is, we're not going to do those titles. We're just going to say crypto, Bitcoin news. Keep it simple, because that's what we care about. Simple, what's going on, how it affects the prices, and how it could affect them long term. So we'll see what happens. But just please be sure to like the video. Let's see if we can get this up to 500 likes. Make this one of the most liked streams we've had in a while on the channel. Thank you, Justin. Rigo, what is up? What is up, Rigo? Ishrad, what is up? Jose Martinez, thank you. Wade, Angel. What is up, everyone? Just put anything in the comments as well. I'll read all of them throughout. At the end of the stream, we'll get into them. Next topic we want to go over is what is going on exactly with with Citigroup. So this is big because right now, like we've said, institutions and banks aren't making it as easy as possible right now for retail investors to get into crypto. We have seen that a lot of institutions are starting to move over. Like Goldman Sachs started trading cryptocurrency. They became the first major bank to trade crypto. We've seen a lot of banks start to install crypto trading directly into their platforms. We've seen like Venmo and Cash App make it extremely easy to buy and sell Bitcoin. But the thing is, right now, Citigroup, they officially launched their digital assets group to provide clients access to cryptocurrency. And this is huge. They've been talking about this for a while. Back in March of 2021, the firm said that Bitcoin was at a tipping point and could become the preferred currency for international trade. They had said that in March. Then in May, they said that they were contemplating launching crypto services after seeing a very rapid accumulation of interest in Bitcoin across a broad spectrum of clients, including large asset managers. They said, basically, look, retail investors are asking us for Bitcoin. Institutions are starting to look into Bitcoin. So you know what? Maybe we should launch crypto services. Then at the end of May, the CEO, Jane Fraser, came out and said that before the Senate committee, she came out and said that Citigroup was taking a measured approach to cryptocurrency as the bank sought to understand changes in the digital asset space and use the distributed ledger technology, including demand and interest by their clients, regulatory developments, and technology advancements to help get crypto and digital assets out to their clients and their customers. So this is exciting because right now Citigroup is a major bank. And we all know that everyone is looking to get into crypto. Doesn't matter if we're talking about institutions, doesn't matter if we're talking about banks. People don't want to miss out on this massive run, especially after seeing all the people in the past who have missed out on Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin a year ago, everyone's like, dang, I missed out big time on Bitcoin. Bitcoin was at $5,000 in 2020. People are thinking to themselves, I missed out. So now what we're seeing is that all across the board, whether we're talking about banks that now feel like they missed out, institutions that feel like they missed out, or just us retail investors that think we missed out, everyone's saying, how can we make this? How can we profit off of this? Can we invest in Bitcoin? Can we make it easier for our customers to invest in Bitcoin? They don't want to miss out. So this is exciting because they're going to be offering clients access to cryptocurrencies within their wealth management division. So it's not to everyone. It's within their wealth management division. Eventually, this should be rolled out to everyone because that's what we are seeing. But right now, they said that they will be responsible for developing future product capabilities for their clients in digital assets. It's exciting to see. It's exciting to see what's going on there. Next up, let's go over what is going on with Ethereum. And I see your comments, Justin, Fox, Scooter, and Jared. We're going to go over all of those right after this topic. We're going to go over those and at the end of the video. So just please be sure to like. Let's see if we get up to 500 likes. But anyways, next topic we're going to go over before we get into a couple of questions. We still got a lot more to cover. But before we answer just 2 or 3 questions in the middle, let's talk about Ethereum. Because right now, Ethereum and altcoins, a couple of major analysts are saying, look, if we see the crypto market fall, like we are seeing, if Bitcoin drops down to $20,000 per coin, it drops another 30%. Well, Ethereum and altcoins are going to take a massive hit, even bigger than Bitcoin. They have more downside. And I wanted to go over this because an article like this, where it talks about Ethereum and altcoins have more downside than Bitcoin, is a very known fact in the crypto world. I'm not going to say it's the most obvious because people who aren't familiar with crypto may not know this, but it is very obvious if you have been in the crypto world for a while to say that we all know that when the market falls, we see Bitcoin, we see that the Bitcoin dominance, which is at the top of the screen right here, Bitcoin dominance starts to increase. Right now it's at 47.2%. But what happens is we always see Bitcoin dominance increase. We see that more people put money in Bitcoin because that is the safest out of all cryptos. And then Ethereum and all the altcoins, people start to take money out of because they're more volatile. People are nervous about it. So what we're seeing is, yes, this is obvious. If the market drops, we will see Ethereum, we will see altcoins drop further. But when the market goes up, these are the coins that have a bigger increase. So like if we look at the market right now, Bitcoin's price dropped right around 50%. In many cases, like Ethereum and altcoins dropped much more than 50%. So just keep this in mind when you're investing. This is why it's always good to have diversified portfolio to see that You know what? It's even though people get bored of Bitcoin, they say, oh, Bitcoin, it's been around forever. You're not going to see massive gains. Well, the thing is it's good to have some of it because it does limit your downside. Even for yes, it's very volatile, much more volatile than many stocks, but it does limit your downside because it's it is more established. When people in crypto get worried about the market and the market's trending downwards, well, people move their money over to Bitcoin. So it is, in my opinion, you know what? It's good to have some Bitcoin. Obviously, that's what I think. People may disagree. I think it's great for anyone to have Bitcoin. Obviously, you're not going to see the massive gains that you may see from some smaller altcoins, but this is just like a warning. And something for everyone to keep in mind is that, look, whenever the market goes down, altcoins are going to take a much bigger hit. I see those as buying opportunities, but you have to be able to sustain them and realize that if you're invested in Cardano, if you're invested in XRP and Solana and EOS and Dogecoin, you're going to see bigger drop-offs. You're going to see bigger drop-offs when the market is down. When the market goes up, we're going to see much bigger gains as well. Next up, let's go over a topic. We're going to quickly answer a question or two, and then we got another topic I want to go over. So I see that a lot of people are asking about Dogecoin. People are asking about Dogecoin. We did the poll on the channel the other day, and we saw that Dogecoin was everyone's favorite crypto. We know it. People love Dogecoin, whether they think it's going to increase the most, whether you think it's just fun to invest in. Everyone loves Dogecoin. And right now, Dogecoin, its price is sitting right around, I'm going to pull it up for you guys, sitting right around, here we go. Dogecoin price right now is sitting around 25 cents per coin. Right now it's at 24 cents. It's been fluctuating between 23 and 25 cents per coin for the last couple of days, last couple of weeks. The big news with Dogecoin that has come out recently is, first of all, we talked about this yesterday, but the massive Dogecoin wallet, the biggest Dogecoin wallet that owns right now about 30% of all Dogecoin in circulation, has not sold anything. So that is something that's very interesting because we have seen that a lot of people are getting scared of Dogecoin, especially as the price has been dropping. We are seeing that people are selling off. People are just getting scared. But the interesting thing is, like we spoke about the other day, that the largest Dogecoin holder is still holding its entire position. It hasn't sold a single Dogecoin. In addition to this, there are a couple of reasons why we're not seeing the price rise right now, because everyone's saying, why isn't Dogecoin's price going higher? Why is it staying low? Well, the reasons for this is, first of all, is because Dogecoin right now, it's not going to increase. No crypto is going to break out and have massive gains when the entire market is consolidating or down. It's just very rare. Yes, it's possible, but whenever we see Bitcoin and the entire market down, no coin is going to see 100% returns. No coin is going to see massive gains. When the market rebounds, yes, like Dogecoin, smaller altcoins, Polygon, all these will definitely see big gains if there's the demand for it. But right now there's just too much fear in the market because of everything going on with China, what's going on with institutional investors, and just the market in general falling. But the other thing is, with Dogecoin, one thing to keep in mind, which is something that has been a restriction, something that has been holding it back for a while, is what is going on with Robinhood. So we spoke about Robinhood, which many people think is the whale account. But the thing with Robinhood is that if it is the whale account, it isn't the whale account, it doesn't matter. The important thing with Dogecoin not increasing recently in price is because people can't easily spend their Dogecoin at locations. Yes, the Dallas Mavericks accept Dogecoin, Houston Rockets accept Dogecoin, SpaceX, people have paid for rockets with Dogecoin. But the thing is, Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban says the limiting factor for Dogecoin is not that people don't like it or that it's not something that people are invested in. The limiting factor is that people who own Dogecoin, a lot of these people own it on Robinhood, and Robinhood doesn't have a digital wallet where you can send crypto back and forth to different people. They don't have that. Robinhood is great. It doesn't have, you don't pay any fees when trading crypto, unlike Coinbase. But they've had a lot of issues in the past, and so people who own Dogecoin on Robinhood can't use it. They can't send it to their Coinbase wallet. They can't send it to a cold storage wallet. They can't pay for it online, and that's one of the limiting factors that is going to be there for Dogecoin until we see Robinhood release a digital wallet where you can buy, sell, and trade Dogecoin and send it to wherever you want. So that's what's going on with Dogecoin. I saw all your comments, Jared. We answered about that. But now let's get back on to what is going on with next topic of the video, which is going to be a couple of things with regulations. So right now, there have been a lot of regulations for crypto come out recently, whether we're talking about the US, the SEC deciding not to pass any Bitcoin or Ethereum ETFs, or with the China regulating Bitcoin mining and basically banning all cryptocurrency activities. We're seeing this all across the world. Bitcoin, crypto regulations. But the interesting thing is that right now Ontario came out and they're cracking down on crypto exchanges. Again, they're continuing to do this. They've done this over the last year, and right now Binance is officially leaving the province as the Ontario Securities Commission says that, look, you haven't meet the certain requirements and complied with the region's laws in place for exchanges and for crypto, so you have to leave. So what happened is, earlier this month, in June of 2021, the Ontario Securities Commission, they've come out multiple times, and they've had a lot of problems with cryptocurrency exchanges complying with their regulations. So earlier this month, the regulator alleged that 2 trading platforms run by KuCoin did not comply with their securities law, and they had to leave. And then in May, the commission said that Polynex had failed to contact it in time. In addition to this, like Binance, with Binance, what they said is, regrettably, Binance can no longer continue service in Ontario for Ontario-based users. They apologize for any inconvenience caused. And essentially, if you do own crypto on Binance in Ontario, Canada, they said take immediate measures to close out all active positions by December 31st, 2021. This is interesting. This is interesting because it's not the first time that we have seen problems with Binance in countries around the world. We saw that TSB Bank, which is a bank in the UK, they banned cryptocurrency purchases altogether due to increasing fraud numbers, and they specifically called out in their report Binance. They said, look, Binance has we have had a lot of reports of scams and fraudulent activities, and a lot of this had to do with Binance. They said, I'm trying to find the specific number, but they said, look, 1 in 8 cryptocurrency purchases ends in a fraudulent action with their bank and Binance. So ultimately, we're seeing Binance, even though it's the largest cryptocurrency exchange in terms of volume, we're seeing that there is a lot of what did we say? With Binance, there's been a lot of concerns recently with regulations in countries around the world. It's not just, and it's interesting because Binance is the one that seems to be targeted with a lot of these concerns. TSB Bank in the UK specifically called out Binance. We're seeing that in Ontario, they're cracking down on crypto exchanges. As they had not followed the certain regulations, they didn't want to change their platform. So we've seen this in the past with other crypto exchanges, but it's just interesting to see that Binance is the one that is being called out a lot of the times in the crypto world. Is it because it's the biggest, or is it just because maybe they're not the most secure? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that they are the biggest exchange by far. If you guys are just joining us, please be sure to like the stream. Let's see if we can keep this up to 500 likes. For those of you who have never seen the channel before, I'm only going to title every single day we do a crypto update. We're going to title it Cryptocurrency and Bitcoin News with the date next to it, because I don't feel like trying to think of a crazy title that says Ethereum going to $20,000, massive, incredible Ethereum run. Like, no, we're just going to say cryptocurrency, Bitcoin news, and we're going to keep it simple. So if you can, just please be sure to like the stream. Let's see if we can get this up to 500 likes. Next up, another announcement that came out with regulations is actually what is going on with Iran. And this is something that is a bit confusing, but very interesting. So let me know. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because you know what? You might have a completely different opinion than me, and I want to hear it. So put that in the comments. So the first thing is going to be with Iran. They just counted 30 crypto mining farms licensed to mint digital currencies. And this is interesting because Iran has previously put a ban in place that would ban all cryptocurrency mining activities through September 22nd, 2021. They said that the ban was going to be, they put that into place in May 27th, and it was going to be in place from May 27th until September 22nd, 2021. The reason they did this is because there was a lot of blackouts in Iran. because there's a lot of cryptocurrency mining. It's estimated that 4.5% of all Bitcoin mining took place in Iran. And because of this, there was so much energy consumed that it was causing a lot of blackouts around the country. A lot of blackouts. And a lot of this is really, they say a lot of this mining, while done in Iran, is actually unlicensed. They have not gotten approval from the government. So what happened is, I think what we're seeing here, I could be wrong, so you could correct me, but from what we're seeing is that Bitcoin mining has been banned in Iran until September 22nd. That's what it said. Then just within the last 24 hours, a new report came out that says Iran counts 30 crypto mining farms licensed to mint digital currency. So what it seems like is that 30 of them are approved to be able to mine Bitcoin, even despite what's going on with blackouts around the country. Could be wrong. But this is important because what is going on with China. We are seeing companies, Bitcoin mining companies, look all around the world for other areas where they can mine Bitcoin. We are seeing them move to the US, to Texas and Florida. We're seeing them move to the UK. We're seeing them move to El Salvador. Now we're seeing them move to Iran. And Iran, not as big of a move for a lot of these countries located in China to move to Iran than to move to Texas or Florida. It's a big move there. But either way, what we're seeing is that people are continuing to look for low energy cost areas. Where is energy more efficient? And because this, a lot of people are in Iran. Iran had to ban cryptocurrency mining altogether. They've been confiscating thousands of units of Bitcoin mining hardware from illegal enterprises. And we'll continue to see how this develops, but it looks like Iran has been sort of a hub for Bitcoin mining. And because of this, they've had a crackdown on what is going on there. And there's still a lot of legal activities going on with Bitcoin mining there. Before we get into the next topic, this is pretty interesting because we're going to talk a couple of things about different altcoins, specifically Solana, Cardano, and a couple of other ones. But before we get into that, if you guys are just joining us, I want to check out the chat. What's up, Swad? Chad, what is up? What about the SEC and XRP? Do you think this will settle? Steven, I think it will settle. There's been a lot going on there. The biggest thing with regulations right now with the SEC is going to be with the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Those are the biggest regulations that we have to keep an eye out on, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But if you guys are just joining us, please be sure to like the stream. Let's see if we can get this up to 500 likes. Every day we go live. Doesn't matter if it's Sunday. Doesn't matter if it's a holiday. Doesn't matter what day it is. We go live every day talking about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin news, and the title of the video is going to be simple, not trying to fool anyone. It's just cryptocurrency and Bitcoin news. So please be sure to just like the stream. Let's see if we get this up to 500 likes. Next up, let's talk about what's going on with a couple of altcoins, because we had some big, exciting news come out with these altcoins. The crypto market has been recovering. We have seen, Bitcoin's price today is up 6%. Ethereum's price is up 5%. XRP is up. Everything across the board is doing pretty well over the last couple days after we saw that bit of a flash crash with China. And right now, we're seeing this that 21 Shares is launching the world's first Solana ETP on 6 Swiss exchange. This is important because right now, for those of you who aren't familiar, ETPs are exchange traded products. And what they are, think of them like an ETF. An ETF is like a collection or a basket of stocks where you could just invest in one place. An ETP is where you can invest in a crypto without actually buying the coin. So it gives institutional investors a way to buy and get exposure to some of the smaller altcoins. For example, 21 Shares has already issued, They've already launched ETPs for Saylor and Cardano blockchain in April, and now they're doing it for Solana. So what this does is it gives institutional investors another way to get involved with some of the smaller altcoins or that they might not be able to get exposure to otherwise. So right now, according to the 21 Shares CEO, Hani Rashwan, he said that these new ETPs deliver what clients have asked for. We expect to add 2 new crypto ETPs in the next couple of months together with new listings and trading venues as well. He said that the Solana structure is physically collateralized, segregated, and replicates one-to-one the tracking of the crypto asset. So basically it follows the exact prices of the crypto asset. And Solana is a project which I really like, which is why I wanted to go over this. Solana is labeled as like an Ethereum killer. It has able to process more transactions per second than Ethereum. It's a little more energy efficient. And while it does have a lot of catching up to do, recently they raised $314 million in a funding round in order to accelerate the development process, help them move forward. And I do like Solana. While it may not be able to overtake Ethereum, it does have all the right ingredients in terms of DeFi, smart contracts, NFTs. It's working on all of that, and it's continuing to grow its user base with this new round of funding. Definitely will help out moving forward. So I just want to let you guys know that, because it is interesting that we're starting to see more ETPs launched, which gives institutional investors easier access to getting involved. Speaking of institutions, though, Chris Giancarlo came out and says that the U.S. risks becoming backwater without central bank digital currency. This is important. So what he's talking about right now is that China, they have their digital yuan, and this is already being rolled out all across the country. They have something where right now they have something called the red ticket lottery, where they're sending out over $9 million in digital yuan to people and saying, look, we're sending this money out. If you receive the red envelope with it, you could just spend it wherever you want. You could spend it at Starbucks, at JD.com, whatever company, retailer accepts digital yuan, you could go ahead and spend it. And the problem with this for the US is that the US is very far behind China in terms of a central bank digital currency. The US has only been talking about it. They have not done really anything in order to have pilot programs actually testing it. We've just seen Jerome Powell come out and actually talk about it and say, you know what, we've been ramping up talks, but we are still a long way away from anywhere where China is right now, where they actually have a central bank digital currency already rolled out and already people using. People in China get paid with the central bank, with the digital yuan. They can pay at stores with it. They are way further along than the US. And according to Chris Giancarlo, he said, look, what's very clear is that China intends their digital yuan to be an instrument of state surveillance. And this is why it's one of the reasons why the digital dollar project we're so animated, because we feel that our new mission is to make sure central banks wake up to this and the US Fed wakes up to this, that these social values that got us here, the rule of law and a free capital market, free enterprise, zones of individual economic privacy, are ingrained in a new digital future of the US dollar, and that we don't allow ourselves to be taken in by what China's doing and match the state surveillance approach. He said basically what we need to do is we need to make sure that the US innovates with their central bank digital currency. It's a matter of time before we see a US digital dollar, a US central bank digital currency, whatever you want to call it, just a digital dollar. It's a matter of time before we see it actually implemented. It would first of all be something for, let's say, stimulus checks, where the government could easily send stimulus checks to people during what happened like during the pandemic. They could just easily send all the money to people's wallet addresses instantly with a digital US dollar. And so what we're seeing is that he said, look, we need to just make sure that we take an innovative approach, that we make sure that we do this right, and we make sure we do it quickly, because right now the race to a central bank digital currency isn't just about maintaining current US values, but also potentially unlocking new forms of smart contract based value for the wider population as well. And what we're seeing with this is that, for example, in Israel, the Bank of Israel has a great approach, which we have talked about quite a bit, that they are taking to their central bank digital currency. The Bank of Israel came out the other day and they said that they had been running a pilot program where they were testing Ethereum and the use cases of it long term. Right now, China, they basically just made a digital dollar. They said, look, this is the digital yuan. It's the same as the paper one. You can just spend it. But for example, in Israel, we've talked about this, but the Bank of Israel successfully tested its ability to program car ownership certificate transfer using a non-fungible token, and completed a transaction wherein an NFT payment was made, the condition of the certificate's transfer, and vice versa. So in Bank of Israel, what they did is they're not just trying to make a central bank digital currency that's like, in Israel, the currency is called a shekel. They don't want to say, we just want to have a digital shekel where you can just go to stores and pay for it. No, what Israel is doing is what a lot of people are saying the US should do. Take a more calculated approach to getting a central bank digital currency where you can go ahead and actually program in more use cases rather than just saying it's the same as a dollar, but it's digital, because there's so many more use cases than that for crypto. For example, what this was in the Bank of Israel, they took it where you let's say you have a title to a car. They said, we're going to put this on an NFT, because so now it's a digital asset. Rather than just a piece of paper, it's a digital asset. And what they did is they said, when someone pays a certain amount to you, your car ownership title gets transferred automatically to them. And this was a way where you could transfer the title of a car instantly, securely. There was little risk, and there was no need for a central intermediary or trustee. It was just done instantly. You programmed it so your car title was an NFT. When someone paid the certain amount, it automatically transferred over. And so that's what they're trying to talk about doing in the US, because in the US, they want to have something similar where they can have all these different smart contracts, all these different use cases, rather than just have a digital dollar. Because a digital dollar is great. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to carry your wallet around. You don't need to have credit cards as much. You don't need to have cash on hand. And if there's stimulus that needs to be sent out from the government, they could just send it directly to your digital wallet. But where it lacks is there is so much more potential for central bank digital currencies than just saying this is a digital dollar. There's so much more potential with smart contracts, with NFTs, and what Bank of Israel did to test it shows us that. They show that, look, you could program the title of a car. You can, in Ethiopia with Cardano, you can have Cardano blockchain based IDs. There's so many more use cases than just saying it's a digital dollar. So, but before we get into the next topic, if you guys can, please be sure to like the stream. We're not at 500 likes yet, but we will get there. We'll get there. So if you can, it would help me out a lot if you guys could like the stream. Let's see if we get up to 500 likes, and we'll stay on, and we're going to go over all of your questions after. So if you guys have liked the video and commented, I'll make sure to answer every single one of your questions. So let's get into the next topic. Next thing I would want to go over is what is going on with where is it? Market analysis. That's what I want to go over. A couple things going on with the market that we have not yet spoken about. So first things first. Right now, the market is up 4.9% for the day. And we've been reading a lot of articles saying how Bitcoin and crypto is going to enter a crypto winter. And that's when the entire crypto market is going to see very little change over the next, let's say 12 to 24 months. We're going to see the market consolidate. We're not going to see a bull market. And like I've said multiple times in the past, I don't think that's the case. I think as soon as we see the SEC approve a Bitcoin or Ethereum ETF, we're going to see the entire market recover. But many people are saying, you know what, look, Bitcoin, since we've seen the price drop from $60,000 per coin, while we do have a support at 30, it looks like we're entering a crypto winter. One thing that I'd like to say about this is that, yes, it does look like we have been consolidating. If we look at the price over the last month or so, the price is moving directly sideways. But when you look at it over the history, this is nothing uncommon. When you start looking back over time, we've always seen big drop-offs. From 2017, we saw it drop from 20,000 all the way down to 3,000 just a couple of months later. I don't think this is going to happen this time around because of institutional interest being in Bitcoin, but it's something just to keep in mind. In addition to this, what we are seeing is that Bitcoin's dominance has dropped back down over the last couple of days after we saw it increase dramatically. As soon as we saw the market crash, all the FUD coming out of China, we saw that Bitcoin's dominance increased dramatically. It went from about 45% all the way up to 48%, which is a massive change. And you can see right here, we're starting to see it bounce back. Right here, this shows all the coins in terms of total market cap, but we were at 41% Bitcoin dominance on Sunday, June 6, 2021. Now, just a couple of weeks later, the Bitcoin dominance is up almost to 40. Right now it's at, 48%. So it's much higher than it has been. And that's something that shows us that, look, there's a lot of fear going on in the market. A lot of people are scared about what's going on in crypto. And because of this, they're putting money into Bitcoin. Whether we're talking about institutions or retail investors, everyone is moving a little bit towards Bitcoin because of what's going on. In addition to this, one thing that I do want to mention is that right now, a lot of the movement in the market comes from retail investors. Because right now, retail investors, make up a large portion of the capital in the crypto world. Institutions, very few institutions have major positions. We see MicroStrategy has about $3 billion. ARK Invest has about $1 billion. We see Tesla has money in it. Square does as well. But other than those 4 or 5 companies, not many institutions have large positions in crypto. They don't. It's just a fact. They don't have large positions in crypto. So because of this, what we're seeing is that whenever there's fear coming out of China, whenever there's something that comes out from the US government with regards to crypto regulations, people get very scared. They move money over. And that's important because institutions only invest in Bitcoin right now. We see them really only invest in Bitcoin or in maybe Ethereum. But for the most part, they all invest in only Bitcoin. And that's because it's much safer. There's a lot more ways that you can get exposure to Bitcoin with the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. There's a couple more ways that you can get exposure to Bitcoin with ETFs in Canada. The first Bitcoin ETF in Brazil was passed the other day. There's a lot more ways you can get directly involved with Bitcoin, and institutions just are not there yet for altcoins. So for that reason, every time we see the market have a bit of a correction, every time we see the market drop a bit, that's when we start to see Bitcoin's price and we see Bitcoin's dominance increase dramatically, now more so than ever, just because previously retail investors made up the entire market and people would move from altcoins to Bitcoin when the market wasn't doing well. But now the thing is institutions are only going to be buying Bitcoin. They might buy some Ethereum, but very few buy Ethereum. And because of this, when we start to see the market drop and retail investors get scared, it's going to cause Bitcoin's price to hold much better than it has in the past. So it's just something to keep in mind. And I do want to go over this. We talked about this in the video yesterday. But since 2012, Bitcoin has had 14 sell-offs. So people who get worried about this sell-off, you got to remember that history has proven time and time again for Bitcoin that we are going to see these massive sell-offs. We've had 14 sell-offs of 30% or more, 6 sell-offs of 50% or more, and 3 sell-offs of 80% or more. So this is not uncommon. Right now, we have seen about a 50% sell-off, and the deepest of these sell-offs always are followed by long periods of consolidation called the crypto winter. So what it does look like is it looks like we're there right now, but just keep in mind that long term, no one has changed their stance on Bitcoin. Whether you ask any institution, they all are, for the most part, anyone who owns Bitcoin institutionally, they are very bullish on it long term. We may see the price drop. I think it is possible we'll see it drop further, but in my opinion, long term, the predictions for Bitcoin have remained the same. And I think the one thing that could trigger us into another bull market a lot faster, the one catalyst that could do that, is going to be what is going on with the SEC approving Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. As soon as we see a Bitcoin or Ethereum ETF passed, that's going to be the catalyst that we need to really see the entire crypto market take itself to the next level. That's going to be when we start to see billions of dollars poured in from institutions, because until now, there's not many institutions involved. So Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs, that's what we need to keep on our watch list. That's what we need to keep an eye out on moving forward. And as soon as we see that, that should have a lot of positive impact on the market in general. But now put any comment you guys have in the chat. Let's go over a couple of things real quick. With that, any comment you guys have, throw it in the chat. We're going to talk about that. You can either just put the name of a crypto, you can put the name of something, or whatever you want. Also, you need to make sure to like the video if you want us to go over your specific question. If you have a specific question that you want to go over, make sure to like the chat and put it in. Put your comment in the chat as well. So just make sure, let's see if we get this up to 500 likes. A couple people are asking about Solana and internet computer. So Solana, what we spoke about today, which I think is going to have a lot of positive impacts on Solana, is what specifically is going on with Solana and these ETPs that were just released. So ETPs are exchange traded products, and it's going to give institutions a much easier way to invest directly in Solana. We saw that Solana had a massive $300 million investment from VCs and firms who are betting on Solana long term. But now I like Solana because it is labeled as the more energy efficient Ethereum. It's labeled as a potential Ethereum killer. Do I think it's going to? I mean, there's a lot out there with Cardano, with EOS, Ethereum. All of these are continually improving and upgrading. So can Solana do it? It's possible, but you got to think about it like all of these are just like small businesses. They're going to be some that fail, some that do really well. I like Solana. I invest in it, and I like how 21 Shares just launched the world's first Solana ETP, which is going to give institutional investors a lot easier access to getting into crypto. What is up, Swad, Carlos, Aravi? What is up, TJ? Thank you for joining us. If you guys are, please be sure to like the video. Let's see if we can get this video up to 500 likes. That's the goal for today. If we can. Oh, and you guys know, every single video we go live for crypto. We just title it Cryptocurrency and Bitcoin News because I'm not going to try and come up with like a title that's like clickbait just to get people to watch. If you guys want to watch, that's great. But I'm just going to keep it simple. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin News for the day. We're going to be going live again tomorrow, so make sure to tune in for that. But I really appreciate all of you guys joining. I think we might just wrap it up here for today. A little bit of a slower Sunday for our chat for the stream. So if you can, make sure to like the video, subscribe, put anything in the chat that you want to know, any future videos that you want to see, and I will see you guys in a bit. Crypto market up 4.55%, 4.9%. Things are looking a little better. People who are saying crypto is over, I would doubt that. I would say, look, institutional investors are finally starting to get in. I see crypto right now as being a great buying opportunity. But I hope you guys have a great Sunday, great rest of the day, and a great week. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And